بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهديه الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are in Surah Qaf. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we started Surah Qaf before Ramadan, and last week we highlighted the whole surah, what Allah is describing for us. And we stopped at كذبت قبلهم, this is verse 12, قوم نوح وأصحاب الرس وثمود وعاد وفرعون وإخوان لوط وأصحاب الأيكة وقوم تبع كل كذب الرسل فحق وعيد. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the example of these people before us. Now Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us about the Quran. This Quran, akhi, ajib. Something good about the Quran. What is it? Quran is huda. It's a guidance. Quran is nur. If you are walking in darkness, Quran light the way for you. You know, jinn, one time they were passing, jinn, they go everywhere. Not just earth, they go any place. So one time, a group of jinn were traveling and no one can see them. So they find the Prophet ﷺ under a tree. He's reciting the Quran. فالله سبحانه وتعالى told the Prophet قل أوحي إلي أنه استمع نفر من الجن. نفر means 7, 8, 9. فقالوا إنا سمعنا قرآنا عجبا. So as soon as they heard the Quran, he said, this Quran is عجيب. إنا سمعنا قرآنا عجبا. عجيب is like wonderful. It's a miracle, something. As soon as they heard it, nobody talked to them. And then فآمنا به. Immediately as we heard the Quran, we believed in it. فآمن إنا سمعنا قرآنا عجبا يهدي إلى الرشد. They immediately knew that this Quran guide to the truth. يهدي إلى الرشد فآمنا به. And then they said ولن نشرك بربنا أحدا. We'll never associate anybody with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is jinn. Without any messenger go to them. So the Quran, عجبا يهدي إلى الرشد. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, this Quran فيه خبر ما قبلكم. So it has the story of the people before you. Is that because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to entertain us? Of course not. So here we said كذبت, they denied, they lied. قبلهم, before Quraysh. The Quran now is talking to Quraysh. And now Quraysh is gone, but we're talking to us right now. كذبت قبلهم قوم نوح. Start Allah was the first people who made takdeeb. Story of Nuh. قوم نوح وأصحاب الرس. People who, the Ras is the well. The people who buried their prophet in the well because they would not believe in him. وثمود. We just recited, what happened to Thamud. سخر عليهم 7 ليال وثمانية أيام حسوما. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had wind and hurricane for 8 days, 7 nights, continuous. فترى القوم فيها صرعى كأنهم أعجاز نخل خاوية. So you find the people lying down as like empty trees, trunk of trees. The wind went right through them. They were like just corpse. That's what Allah tells us about. وَعَادٌ وفرعون وإخوان لوط. All these diseases, we have it nowadays. وأصحاب الأيكة وقوم تبع كل كذب الرسل. All of them denied the messengers. All of them say, these guys are lies, these guys are terrorists, these guys are, not telling the truth. فحق وعيد. So whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned them, every single one of them Allah warned them. قوم نوح, Allah warned them. Nuh warned them. قوم عاد, their prophet Hud warned them. Thamud, Salih warned them. Fir'aun, Musa warned them. Every one of them, Allah sent a messenger to warn them. كذبوا, they denied. They said, no, you're liars. Like now in Egypt, same thing. They have people that say, this is haram, this is wrong. They deny. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَحَقَّ وَعِيد. So, haqq is truth. The punishment will come. Wallahi, the punishment will come to the Egyptians. And the punishment will come to Asad. And the punishment will come to everybody who denies the truth. فَحَقَّ وَعِيد. And Allah would not. So the Quran, فِيهِ خَبَرُ مَا قَبْلَكُمْ وَحُكْمُ مَا بَيْنَكُمْ. So the Quran, if you take it and you have a dispute with anybody, bring him to the Quran. فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ. If you fight over something, فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَإِلَى الرَّسُولِ. Bring that argument or that fight or that dispute to the book of Allah and to the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَإِلَى الرَّسُولِ. The problem is people, wallahi, you find people who pray and fast and go make hajj. But they don't want to bring it when they have a dispute. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described them in the Quran. فَإِنْ يَكُنْ لَهُمُ الْحَقِّ. If they have the truth, if they have if they come to the Prophet and the Prophet will give them the right. يَأْتُوا إِلَيْهِ مُذْعِنِينَ. They come to it really in submission. But if it's not for them, وَلَّوْا. They turn and they don't want to come back to the truth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell us, that فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَإِلَى الرَّسُولِ. This is a believer, a true believer. سَمِعْنَا وَأَطَعْنَا. We hear and we obey. But most people say سَمِعْنَا, we hear. If it works for me, I'll obey. But if it works against me, I don't have to obey. Brother come the other day and said, Sheikh, now, he said, I want to buy a gas station. I said, MashaAllah, may Allah bless you. He said, but it has beer in it. Is that haram? I just looked at him. I said, what do you think? Is it beer, wine, or liquor? So you know the answer. You don't need the sheikh to tell you it's haram or halal, right? He said, but sheikh, see, if I open my business and I don't have liquor in it, no money is going to come. So I'm thinking to sell this beer and bring the money to the masjid. See, ya akhi, the ajab. You bring the money to the masjid. I said, ya akhi, the Prophet ﷺ said about Allah, إِنَّ اللَّهَ طَيِّبٌ لَا يَقْبَلُ إِلَّا طَيِّبًا. Allah is good and He doesn't accept haram. Allah is not going to accept your haram. I said, ya akhi, I'm not going to give you the answer, but he's another brother that he started a business like that and he got rid of all of the liquors. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make him buy a second gas station and the third. They have 5 of them now. And none of them have liquors. And he's making wonderful money. So it's not the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Allah tell you this is haram, it is haram. Don't think about it. Just get rid of it. Akhi, wallahi, I work, but I have only job, I carry wine. Akhi, don't carry, don't work, leave that job, find another one. See, في حكم ما بينكم هي أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول. Listen. وفيه فيه خبر ما قبلكم وحكم ما بينكم ونبأ ما بعدكم. This Quran, I can tell you the future. People say, we don't have a crystal ball. Yeah, we do, right there. This is a crystal ball that tells you the future. That tells you the behavior of Asad, Bashar, that inshallah he will be dead. And inshallah will be defeated, like his father was. Sometimes the people will defeat him, like Gaddafi, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send him a disease or a cancer, he'll be gone. So either way, he'll be gone. and when he meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hellfire. So it tells us what the future. It tells me if this person behaved this way, that's the end result. If you go in this direction, that's the end. If you go that direction, that's the end. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warn us and to give us stories and stories and stories. We have what? 9 stories? You know, Nuh, Ashab al-Ras, Thamud, Aad, Fir'aun, Khwan Lut, Ashab al-Aika, 7, 8, 9 different stories in different places in different time. The people denied the message. The people rejected Allah. And then what happened? حَقَّ وَعِيدٍ. Then Allah is asking a question now that we start in the new. أَفَعَيِينَا بِالْخَلْقِ الْأَوَّلِ بَلْ هُمْ فِي لَبْسٍ مِّنْ خَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ. You see, this verse, by the way, is verse 15. This verse has a lot of miracles in it. Allah is posing a question. He said, أَفَعَيِينَا بِالْخَلْقِ الْأَوَّلِ. Allah is asking, was Allah tired when He created heaven and earth in the first place? Was Allah tired of that? And we heard the description how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala السماوات والأرض كانتا رتقا ففتقناهما. What we call the Big Bang theory, that everything was one ball exploded and then all these stars and all this comes out. So Allah is posing the question, أَفَعَيِينَا بِالْخَلْقِ الْأَوَّلِ. When we created heaven and earth in the first place, was Allah tired? بَلْ هُمْ فِي لَبْسٍ. Because He said, أَإِذَا مِتْنَا. If we die in the beginning of the surah, if we die, وَكُنَّا عِظَامًا وَرُفَاتًا, and become bones and dust, أَإِنَّا لَمَبْعُوثُونَ. We're going to come back. هَيْهَاتَ هَيْهَاتَ. That would never happen. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَفَعَيِينَا بِالْخَلْقِ الْأَوَّلِ بَلْ هُمْ فِي لَبْسٍ مِّنْ خَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ. They are what? They are doubt about a new creation, about the coming back from the death. But 2 days ago, I was watching Sci-Fi Channel. And when I was watching it, it was late at night. Couldn't sleep, so I'm watching it. And it shows the earth, a little ball. And then it shows the moon, a smaller ball. And then it shows the sun, which the sun is like many times bigger than the earth and the moon. And then it shows these little stars. They have the sun and have the stars around it. And it shows this into our galaxy, which is called the Milky Way, which is, they say, 200 light years. That's the distance, huge. And the sun and the moon, the sun itself is a little dot in this galaxy. So in that Milky Way, billions of stars in just one galaxy. And they say in our system, there's millions but billions of galaxies that looks like ours, but even bigger. This is they say one. So they tried to simulate that inside the computer. So they simulated our Milky Way. And they said within a second it broke apart and it disappeared. So they said something has to hold this thing that's circulating in space. How it's being held. So they said it might be the gravity inside it. So they created the gravity inside that galaxy, the Milky Way, and it fall apart again. Something else must hold it. But they don't want to say it's Allah. Something else must hold it. So they said, well, we're going to call it the black matter or the dark matter. So a dark matter is holding it. What's that dark matter? Again, they don't say it's Allah. So they say it's a dark matter that's holding this. So let's create in the computer a dark matter, which is a gravitational force that doesn't exist within the system itself. So they created that, it held itself. And then say, let's add another galaxy, and another galaxy, and another galaxy. So they start adding this galaxy to imitate how many galaxies. There's a telescope, it's called the Hubble telescope. They sent it about 10, 15 years ago that goes out in space and send these signals to see what's happening. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِمَوَاقِعِ النُّجُومِ. Allah swear by what? No. مواقع النجوم. What's مواقع النجوم? Positions of stars. So Allah swears by the position of the star. And then Allah in the next verse He said, وَإِنَّهُ لَقَسَمٌ لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عَظِيمٌ. إِنَّهُ لَقَسَمٌ لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عَظِيمٌ. But nobody knew. But only discovered this about 10 years ago. They said that the star is like any human being. It gets born, it grows, and it dies. How does it die? It goes, when it grows, it glows. So when the star is alive and it gets bigger and bigger, it glows. You can see it. That's why you see the stars. But then when it starts dying, it's actually condensed. And it tells you it becomes like so much condensed, like, the matter becomes in a little bowl like this, the entire Empire State Building can go into it. And what happened? And it explodes. It becomes pieces. That's how it dies. And it goes into space. Now, if the star is here, right, and it explodes, it takes the light to come to us about 1 million to 2 million to 5 million years. So by the time we see that star, what happened? It's not there. It's already dead. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِمَوَاقِعِ النُّجُومِ. Because Allah swears by the position of the stars that you see. Because if He actually swear by the star, you don't see the star. Star is dead 1 million years ago, and you just start seeing it. That's why He said, وَإِنَّهُ لَقَسَمٌ. It's a swear, it's a great qasam. لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عَظِيمٌ. Anyway, so I continue watching this program, and they said, okay, so now we have this Milky Way and billions of galaxies in our system. But they said that other systems out there that have the same thing. So they start simulating in the computer, and he said this whole universe is like a huge web connected together. And then he said, and it's in constant expansion. So he said the universe is expanding, and they thought up till 1996 that slowing down. And they find now with the technology, it's actually expanding faster. And they said, here's how the end of the world will happen. Our Milky Way, there's another galaxy like our Milky Way. It's coming closer to us, I think about 2-3 inches every 100 years or 200 years. And this is, they simulated on the computer, and they said what will happen, it will collapse or collide with our galaxy. But he say with these two colliding, not one star is going to hit the other one. Imagine the stars and the moon, so they're going to collide, just the system. And they're going to pass each other and come back to each other and come back to each other until they all both explode and create a new galaxy. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَفَعَيِينَ بِالْخَلْقِ الْأَوَّلِ بَلْ هُمْ فِي لَبْسٍ مِنْ خَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ. They are in a doubt of a new creation. And that's how I say these two galaxies will collide. And they said, we don't know where the earth would be. They might explode. And it will. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells in the Quran, it will explode. And He said, وَجُمِعَ الشَّمْسُ وَالْقَمَرُ. The moon and the sun will be combined. And they said that what holds the moon closer to us or to us is our gravity. But they say they notice that the moon every year losing a half an inch or a quarter of an inch away from us. So away from us going where? Closer to the sun. And he totally, until he loses gravity, what happened? The moon and the sun will collide. Of course the sun will eat the moon. We have no longer a moon. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَجُمِعَ الشَّمْسُ وَالْقَمَرُ. That's in the day of judgment. And it goes on and on. So this Quran, akhi, tells you the future, what happened. The ulama, if they really look at it, the Muslims ulama, but there is also a kafir ulama that they can learn. If I find a book in Chinese that tell me about medicine or tell me how to cure cancer, he said, no, because it's Chinese, I don't want to use it. Use anything. So they don't look at the Quran as give you clues about what happened. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَعَيِينَا بِالْخَلْقِ الْأَوَّلِ بَلْ هُمْ فِي لَبْسٍ مِّنْ خَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ. Now these Arabs, the Quran came to their bid when they said, Allah created you from the beginning, Allah can create you again. It's easy, it's not hard. But now we know about the theory, the Big Bang Theory, and another theory will come. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يَوْمَ نَطْوِي السَّمَاءَ كَطَوِي السِّجِلِّ لِلْكُتُبِ. And we're going to fold heaven, because it says like a funnel, and it's expanding. But then it will come the time that Allah will fold it. And it becomes again the same ball again, and then you have the second Big Bang Theory, and new stars, and new earth, and new... يَوْمَ تُبَدَّلُ السَّمَاوَاتِ غَيْرَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. That day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will replace heavens with different heavens, and earth will be a different earth. See, this is أَفَعَيِينَا بِالْخَلْقِ الْأَوَّلِ بَلْ هُمْ فِي لَبْسٍ مِّنْ خَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ. Now, why Allah tell us all of this? Some we can imagine, because now we are in this age of computers and understanding and space scopes and all this stuff, so we can understand some of that. And some we don't. Till now they say it's just a puzzling thing how this thing all together. They call it a dark matter. We call it Allah, the creator. He put the system all together. So Allah coming back to the human, to us on earth now. He said, if Allah can create in the first place, He can create it in the second place. It's not hard for Him. It was not tiring for Allah to do it in the first time. He can do it again. And He said, now, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانِ. Indeed, Allah created man. لَخَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ أَكْبَرُ مِنْ خَلْقِ النَّاسِ مِنْ خَلْقِ أَنفُسِكُمْ. Yeah, the creation of this system is much, much greater than creating a human being. So Allah comes to the وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانِ. So Allah tells us, He created us. وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ. And we know that when you think, like right now everybody have a thought in his mind. Allah knows that thought. You don't have to spell it out. Allah knows exactly what runs in your mind right now. Why Allah is telling you that? Because we control our thoughts. I can think right now, I love being with my brothers, the angels are around us, this is beautiful. Or can I think in my head, I say, why I'm sitting here, I should be outside really enjoying myself, not sitting in the masjid. So you can have any thoughts you want, right? You are in control of your thoughts, and Allah witnessing what you... وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ وَنَعْلَمُ. And we know مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ. What do you talk between you and yourself? Every human being have what? A conscious, which is what we talk about, and a subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is hidden. Your conscious mind, I'm awake now, but if I go to sleep, my conscious mind goes to sleep. But the subconscious mind never goes to sleep. It's 24/7, it's there. It's like a memory of a computer that is hidden in the back. And whatever you ask that subconscious mind a question, it gives you an answer. This is what Allah did. So if you ask yourself, I give a silly question. If you ask, how come I'm so fat? Right? So the subconscious mind says, because you're a pig, you eat too much, you don't stop this, you don't, But if you ask a different question, it said, how can I, become slim? I tell you, watch what you eat, do this, do that. So we'll give you the answer. She doesn't sleep. So a lot of the time you go to sleep, but your subconscious is still thinking about a problem that you have. So you just want to get away from the problem, you go to sleep, but your subconscious keep working on it. So that's the nafs that talk to you all the time. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we know what's going on in your head, in your nafs. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ. And Allah al-Ajib said, وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. Allah is closer to you, your jugular vein right here. Allah is closer to you than this. Really think of these words. Allah is closer to this, to me, than this. Yes. So why Allah telling us this? Tell us the punishment that happened to the people before us. He tell us about the creation of heaven and earth, and He said, I know you, and I know what you think, so watch it. So Allah will bring you to reality. Watch what you do. Watch the thoughts that goes in your mind. Watch who you are and where are you going with these thoughts. See, if every tyrant in this world, small little tyrants, and huge tyrants. Huge tyrants like Assad. Huge tyrants like Mubarak. And little tyrants, some of us are little tyrants. Wherever we are. Maybe I'm a tyrant in my home. Maybe if somebody a tyrant in the school, or tyrant at work, or tyrant in the driving. So Allah remind us, وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُ وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. So Allah said, watch, you are being watched. He said, إِذْ يَتَلَقَّى الْمُتَلَقِّيَانِ عَنِ الْيَمِينِ وَعَنِ الشِّمَالِ قَعِيدٌ. Not only that Allah is closer to you than the jugular vein, but Allah also assigned 2 angels for you. One is on the right hand side, one in the left hand side. You know, they show it in Hollywood movie, and this guy is like an angel, but this guy is the devil. Astaghfirullah, they're both angels. This one having a book, sitting on your shoulder. Whatever you do, see, the angels don't write your thoughts. That's yours. But Allah tell you, I know what you think. But these angels are commanded by Allah to only write your action. Isn't that fair? Isn't that just? So this angel on the right, I'm sitting here now and giving a dars. So he write, Muhammad Hassan at this time was sitting giving dars. This angel, if I do something bad, he write the bad things. So the one on the right, writing all the good things. The one on the left, writing all the what? Bad things. Oh, he did this. He looked the wrong way. He stole. He did this. So he write. Both writing. Even one time a guy was whistling. So these 2 angels, they got confused. Do I write it good or I write it bad? Right? So they asked Jibreel. So he said, Uktub, write, Safir, whistling, وَعَلَى اللَّهِ التَّفْسِيرِ. We don't know the meaning. Let Allah figure it out. Right? So all what you have to do, write what? The action. Your brother Ali did whistling. Did he whistle because he want to call his horse? He is whistling trying to play with a woman. Allahu A'lam. His niyyah. But that's why إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى. So deeds by intention, and Allah is the only one who can know the intention. Angels don't know. So they just write the action. Now look at how Allah is fair and just. But look, number 1, that you're being watched. Allah closer to you than your jugular vein. وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. And then He assigned 2 angels to write everything from the minute you're born to the minute you die, prescribing. And we just read in Surah Al-Haqqa, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ. People will receive, may Allah make us from among those people, with his right hand, فَيَقُولُ, he's happy. هَا أُمُقْرَأُ كِتَابِيَ. Read my book. إِنِّي ظَنَنْتُ, I'm sure, certain. أني ملاق حسابها فهو في عيشة راضية في جنة عالية قطوفها دانية كلوا واشربوا هنيئا. Why? بما أسلفتم في الأيام الخالية, because of your behavior and action in the days before. والعياذ بالله وأما من أوتي كتابه بشماله. He crying فيقول يا ليتني لم أوت كتابية. I wish I never had that book. ولم أدري ما حسابية. I don't want to know my accountability. يا ليتها كانت القضية. I wish I died and never came back. ما أغنى عني مالية. That's what people fight all over the world for. What? Wealth, money. هلك عني, the second one, سلطانية. مال وسلطان. Isn't the 2 things that the shaitan came to Adam. يا آدم هل أدلك على شجرة الخلد وملك لا يبلى. Rich and fame. هلك عني سلطانية. ما أغنى عني مالية. هلك عني سلطانية. The money is gone and the fame is gone. Right? So the Prophet ﷺ, to see how wonderful Allah is. One time my daughter came to me when she was little. She said, Daddy, I take tests all the time. I said, yes. And she said, in the school, you take a test. So if you hit 90, you get an A. If you hit 80 and above, between 80 and 90, you get a B. If you get 70 to 80, you get a C. If you hit 50 to 60, you get a D. If you hit less than a 50, you get an F. I said, yes. And they said, if you give you 20 problems, everyone count. I said, yes. She said, and we try, and a lot of people manage to succeed, but some people manage to fail. I said, but what's your point? She said, but Allah, His scale is so great. She referred to the hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, "Man hamma bihasanatin," whoever thought of making a good deed, فَفَعَلَهَا. Yani I thought, I want to do something. I have a brother that is sick. I want to go visit him. That's my thinking. I want to go visit him. So if I went to the hospital and visited him, what happened? كُتِبَتْ لَهُ عَشْرُ حَسَنَاتٍ إِلَى سُبْعُمَائَةٍ حَسَنَةٍ. So Allah would write minimum 10 times what I did, up to 700 times. So let's stick with the 10 times, the minimum. We're not going to go to the 700. We're going to do the 10. So if I thought of hasana, something good to visit somebody, and I went to the hospital, took action, I went, Allah write me 10. وَمَنْ فَكَّرَ فِي حَسَنَةٍ. If I thought about, I want to go visit my brother in the hospital. فَلَمْ يَفْعَلْهَا. And I didn't do it. كُتِبَتْ لَهُ حَسَنَةٍ. عجيب. So even, that's why I said to you, your thoughts, Allah says, وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُ. So He's going to reward you for these thoughts. Not the angels. The angels doesn't know what I'm thinking, but Allah does. So if I thought I want to go visit somebody, but I didn't visit him, I get what? 1 hasana. So she said, you see, Daddy, if I do something, I get 10 times. If I thought of something good, I get 1 time. Let's go the other way. وَمَنْ هَمَّ, or thought, بِسَيِّئَةٍ. I thought, I'm going to hurt this brother. I really want to hurt him. And then I stopped. فَلَمْ يَفْعَلَهَا كُتِبَتْ لَهُ حَسَنًا. عجيب. So if I thought to do something bad, and I said, no, this أعوذ بالله من الشيطان, this is bad. Allah give me what? A hasana. He said, even Daddy, there's no system, in school does that. If you do something wrong, they don't reward you for it. But Allah does, because you stop. وَمَنْ هَمَّ بِسَيِّئَةٍ فَفَعَلَهَا. But if you thought of a bad deed, and you acted upon it, then Allah write it 1 sayyah. She said, there's 3 ways, Daddy, to succeed. And there's only 1 way to fail. The 1 way to fail, if you cause the action. But if you thought of bad action and you didn't do it, you get a hasana. You succeed. If you thought of something good and you didn't do it, you succeed. If you did it 10 times, succeed. So you have 10, 11, 12 versus 1. And she said, I don't understand, Daddy, why people go to the hellfire? Isn't that a wonderful question? And she was young. She said, why people go to the hellfire? If there is 12 ways to go to Jannah and 1 way go to the hellfire, why people manage to go to the hellfire? So al-ajib, because they are stupid. That's why. People sometimes they just go in that direction. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِذْ يَتَلَقَّى الْمُتَلَقِّيَانِ عَنِ الْيَمِينِ وَعَنِ الشِّمَالِ قَعِيدٌ مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. Once you utter the word, it's written. So you have to watch what you say. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was traveling one time, and Ibn Abbas was ghulam, a boy, 8, 9. Al-ghulam in the Arabic language is anybody who did not reach puberty. That's called a ghulam. So usually under 12. So Ibn Abbas was riding the camel behind the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. While they're riding, see, like you're driving your car, or just put the CD on and listen to music, and especially if you have your kids with you in the car. So the Prophet was riding his car, his camel, and Ibn Abbas, little boy, behind him. قال يا غلام, oh my little boy, إني معلمك كلمات. We have to learn from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when you are in the car and you're traveling, you can teach your kids, you can teach whoever with you in the car things. And I'm going to tell you another story about that. إني معلمك كلمات. So Ibn Abbas listening. He's in the ride with him. He's not going anywhere. He said, احفظ الله يحفظك. He said, protect Allah, Allah will protect you. How do you protect Allah? Does Allah need your protection? No. Protect Allah means obey Allah. Obey His do and don't. The Quran is instructions. This is haram, don't do it. Like the brother was asking me about the beer. You know it's haram. Since you're a little boy, you're born as a Muslim, you know that any liquor, any wine, any beer, anything that takes your mind away is haram. So you don't really have to go ask a sheikh. And these people who call them, they shop for fatwa. I go to this sheikh, what do you think, sheikh? It's haram. What do you think, sheikh? It's haram. What do you think, sheikh? It's haram. Go to the sheikh, what do you think, sheikh? I think it's what I like you. You're good. That's the sheikh I want. He told me that it's halal, it's not haram. So they shop for fatwa. But you know it's haram, you stop. احفظ الله يحفظك. احفظ الله تجده تجاهك. Means protect or understand the laws of Allah and obey it, you'll find Allah always at your assistance. Wallahi akhi, this hadith alone, it should be like taught every day to our ummah. احفظ الله يحفظك. Live with the law of Allah, Allah will protect you. احفظ الله تجده تجاهك. If you protect the laws of Allah, you find Allah at your assistant. Allah, the Creator, at my assistant. We'll go back to, there was a man, American man. Him and his son, driving the car. And, he said his son was like a teenager, and he's taking him to a football game. He bought 2 tickets, and they are on highway, Pasadena highway, and they're going to see a football game. So it was really something big. And he said, I don't really spend a lot of time with my son, so I said that would be a good idea to take him with me in the car, and we'd drive. And I said, well, our drive is about an hour and a half to get to the stadium. He said, well, we're driving, and we have like, the game will start in an hour. Like we'll arrive right before the game starts. He said, we're driving, and one of the tires blew up. So he pulled to the highway, and he called AAA, and he said, hey guys, my car, the tire blew up, I need somebody to help me. See, I never changed a tire in my life, so I don't know how to change it. Neither me nor my son. He was a rich man. So they said to him, we'll be there within 45 minutes. 45 minutes? Are you crazy? 45 minutes, by the time you fix it and I go there, half the game is gone. So he said, I start cursing, I start, getting angry and mad. And that guy was a psychiatrist. So he said, I sat there and I used every word, every colorful word, and angry on the phone, and my son was just sitting up at the car, just watching me. And he said, all of a sudden, I said, okay, fine, we'll send it whenever. And he said, I hang up. And I said, what was the whole goal of going with my son to the game? What was the whole idea of the trip? It's to be with my son. He said, the tire blew, so I was my son. I'm with him now. So he said, I start thinking in my mind, what should I, make out of this time? Now we're on the highway, stranded, so we can take something useful, something beneficial from that. And he said, I sat with him, and we sat on the grass, waiting for the AAA to arrive. We start talking, and I really start to know who my son is. And he started to know who I am. He said, at the time, I didn't care when AAA will arrive. He said, it took 2 hours. By the time they fixed the car, the game was over. But I had the good time that I wanted to be with my son. You see, that's why the Prophet ﷺ, when he was in the camel with Ibn Abbas, took that time to teach him. So the point of this, don't lose time. Allah swear by time. If you are in the car driving with your son or your daughter or your wife or your friend, so that time, it's not going to Virginia Beach that takes 3-4 hours to get there. How about the 3-4 hours in the car? Some people, they're angry, let's go fast, why are you not? And they fight in the car. I know family, they fight the 3 hours until they get to Virginia Beach. They do. Why? Enjoy the time. Enjoy so the Prophet teach us how to teach our children, how to teach our family, how to take a trip. And this psychiatrist discovered this, said, it's not the point that I have to watch the game, it's the point that I want to be with my son. احفظ الله يحفظ احفظ الله تجده تجاهك. And then here's the next one. إذا سألت. When you ask, who do you ask? فاسأل الله. He says, Allah, the Prophet ﷺ is teaching this young boy to be a man, to never, ever, ever depend on a human being. Because once you depend on a human being, they will disappoint you all the time. Take Ikhwan in Egypt. They got rid of the leaders of the army. You remember that? They got rid of all of them. And they picked up a young officer and they made him the head of the army. That's the Sisi. That's the one who killed him now. You guys know that? That's the same guy who killed all of them. So did they depend on Allah? No. They depend on the human being. Oh, you a young officer, we'll make you the leader. So protect us. And he killed them. That's the Sisi. Yep. And that's why one of the Ikhwan said, his name is not a Sisi, his name is Al-Khasisi. You know the difference between Sisi and Khasisi? Khasisi means the betrayers. So they changed his name. So the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ. This shows you your connection have to be with Allah all the time. Don't ask anybody but Allah. وَإِذِ اسْتَعَنْتَ. You seek help, فَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. So also, Allah is the only one who can help you. And he said, وَعْلَمْ. For certain, no. إِنَّ الْأُمَّةِ. The entire universe, entire earth, اجتمعوا على أن ينفعوك بشيء لن ينفعوك إلا بشيء قد كتبه الله لك. If the whole nation gather to try to help you with something that Allah did not permit you to have it, you'll never have it. Doesn't matter who. And at the same time, if they are gathered to harm you, without Allah's permission, they can't harm you. So who can harm you? Allah. Who can benefit you? Allah. That's why in Surah Al-Imran, قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ. So Allah is the owner of everything. تُؤْتِ الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ. He can give you, He doesn't give you. That's Allah. وَتَنْزِعُ. I love the word تَنْزِع. تُؤْتِ is to give. تَنْزِع is not, you can say تُؤْتِ وَتَأْخُذ. Right? When you say تأخذ, because if I give Hisham, $1, I give him. But try to take it back. It's not تأخذ. تنزع. Have you ever lent somebody money? Brother comes, say, brother, I need money, please. Can you give me $1,000? So تؤتي, you give him $1,000. And then brother disappeared and they tried to chase him. Now he look for you. You have to sue him to get the money back. That's تنزع. تنزع الملك ممن تشاء. Because once a person have a throne, he doesn't want to move. So he have to be تنزع. Really, most of our leaders, they don't leave until they die. Gaddafi is holding so tight. So they have to be تنزع. عجيب. كلمة أخي. One word that shows you how human behave. وتنزع الملك ممن تشاء. وتعز من تشاء. You honor all you. وتذل. Allah can make you the lead. من تشاء بيدك الخير. In Allah's hand is all the goodness. إنك على كل شيء قدير. تولج الليل في النهار. أخي look, is now that day, night. Tomorrow's day. وتولج النهار في الليل. وتخرج الحي من الميت. وتخرج الميت من الحي. وترزق الرزق اللي احنا we worry about. من تشاء بغير حساب. So Allah can tomorrow, you poor, Allah can tomorrow make you the richest person. And you are rich, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tomorrow can put you down. Look at Mubarak up, now down. Look at Morsi up, now down. It's not Allah's hand. So, shouldn't you trust Allah? Shouldn't you be with Allah all the time? This is the trick. The problem is, we are with Allah only in the good time. But when the bad time comes, we don't know Allah. Some of us do, some of us don't. You have to be with Allah all the time. ما يلفظ من قول. When a person says anything, إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. So Allah said, watch what you say. Mu'adh ibn Jabal, one time, The Prophet ﷺ said, watch what you say. So he said, O Rasulullah, would Allah take accountability what we say? Does Allah count what we say? قال ثكلتك أمك. May your mother never had you. That's a big dua. Because he said, that question is really stupid question. And he said, وَهَلْ يَكُبُّ النَّاسَ فِي النَّارِ عَلَى وُجُوهِهِمْ إِلَّا حَصَائِرُ أَلْسِنَتِهِمْ. He said, what bring people to the hellfire is their tongue. So watch what he said. Imam Ahmad يقول that رب أحدكم, one of you, يقول كلمة, he say one word, لا يلقي لها بالا. Some of us makes jokes. تهوي به في النار 70 خريفا. It will take him to the hellfire for 70 years. And not our years. إن يوما عند ربك كألف سنة مما تعدون. So the 70,000 years in the hellfire because he said one word that he didn't think about. He made fun of someone. He said something, he didn't pay attention to it. لا يلقي لها بالا كلمة يقولها. Nothing. Never think about it. تهوي به في النار 70 خريفا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. So Allah said, watch what you say. Be careful what comes out of your mouth. You know, nowadays, I was walking in a conference about a day and a half ago. And I was walking in the corridor of the conference area, and two young people in the age of maybe 28, 29, and a girl with them about the same age, 27, and the girl was using every colorful word in the book. And the guys are laughing. But she didn't know I was walking behind. Then she turned around, she looked at me, she said, whoops. I said, watch what you say. To use, and some of us, unfortunately, we use foul language all the time. Sometimes I hear my brothers outside, not in the masjid. In the masjid, they're really a little bit careful. But outside on a normal day, if this, if that, and, subhanAllah, why do we use this bad language? And we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, every time you said the word F or the word B or the word, this guy's busy, and this guy's asleep. So he's writing everything you say. We have to clean what we say. We have to watch what we say. ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. And then Allah immediately remind you, وَجَاءَتْ سَكْرَةُ الْمَوْتِ بِالْحَقِّ. Allah move you from your talk and moving to the time of your death. وَجَاءَتْ سَكْرَةُ الْمَوْتِ بِالْحَقِّ. ذَلِكَ مَا كُنْتَ مِنْهُ تَحِيدٌ. This is what you try to avoid, سَكْرَةُ الْمَوْتِ. So imagine that you are standing there and cursing and this and that, and that's the time. It was in Saudi Arabia, a guy, he was at the time of Michael Jackson. And he was like, have his radio in his car, and he's singing with Michael Jackson, and he's driving and flying on the highway, and the car flipped, and he was dying. When they come to tell him the Shahada, he was just singing Michael Jackson. وجاءت سكرة الموت بالحق ذلك ما كنت منه تحيد. This is the time of this that you used to avoid. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said وجاءت سكرة الموت بالحق ذلك ما كنت منه تحيد. And immediately, time of death, ونفخ في الصور ذلك يوم الوعيد. So Allah moved to you. This is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A man come to him, Ya Rasulullah, متى الساعة? When is the day of judgment? قال, when you die, that's the sa'a. When you drop dead, that's the time of what? يوم القيامة. Because you're going to know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell us here. We'll come to it. فَبَصَرُكَ الْيَوْمَ حَدِيدٌ. Now you can see the angels. Now you can see the shaitan. Now you can see the other world. Now you can see everything that he was not aware of. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يقول ونفخ في الصور ذلك يوم الوعيد وجاءت كل نفس معها سائق وشهيد لقد كنت في غفلة من هذا. You are asleep. غفلة means you dozing. فكشفنا عنك غطاءك. When you die, now everything is clear to you. فبصرك اليوم حديد. Your eyesight now is iron. You can see. Not 20/20, it's 220. Because now you see everything. You see the truth. You see the angels. You see, the shaitan. You see everything. Now it's open. But you can't go back. So, akhi, if we learn anything from today, learn a couple of things. One, everything we say, it's written. Everything we thought, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. So we should watch what we say. We should always try to deposit, as my daughter said, the 3 ways to succeed. There's only one way to lose. So avoid that one way. And always score. Even if you think about something evil, change it. Stop doing it. You'll also succeed. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to understand the Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to learn the Quran. وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي علما اللهم زدنا علما اللهم زدنا علما اللهم زدنا علما نافعا وعملا متقبلا وقلبا خاشعا ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين